Have you decided on a punishment yet for the players arrested last weekend?
No, have not. Still gathering some information, but once we do, we'll take care of it appropriately.
Was it one of their cars, the car in question?
I'm not going to get into any details, but once I gather all the information, we'll take care of the situation.
Does an arrest count as a positive drug test with your guys' drug program?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into all the details as far as that goes, but obviously I was disappointed that we had some players get arrested, but it'll be taken care of.
So minimum probationary status?
Like I said, I'm not going to get into.
Well, before all that happened, how were they as kids in your program? Did they stay out of trouble, or was there anything in the past?
I would say that our whole team has done an excellent job. Just being good citizens. Good in the classroom. You look at our team GPA; it's the highest it's been, I believe, in Auburn history. You look at our APR, the last 4-year period, is the highest in history. We got a lot of positives going on. So anytime something like that does happen, obviously it's disappointing. But we have a bunch of fine young men, in our program.
Obviously, the laws on marijuana are changing throughout the country in different states. I mean, where do you kind of stand personally on the?
Well, whatever our policy is, that's what we're going to follow. And I think most coaches would say that.
Is it difficult though, Gus? Because there are coaches obviously in states like Oregon, Washington, a lot of California, where their players wouldn't even be faced with this situation. And you can only deal with the laws that are in your state. The point is, punishment-wise, it's not the same in college football on an issue like this.
Well, we live in the state of Alabama, and we're going to go by the policies, and we have standards and expectations, and that's my job to uphold them.
Yes, the satellite camp gets repealed. Just for you guys, just talk about kind of the process. Did you have some plans already in place for that? Just in case?
We did have some plans already in place, and but this is kind of a new thing for everybody. We're trying to figure out what's best for Auburn. We think there's great value in getting players to our campus, and so we're just trying to figure out the right thing to do for Auburn. As far as our strategy is concerned about where we should go, how many places we should go, who should we send. Now, I know the rest of the coaches in our league are kind of trying to answer these same questions, but I'm just taking a deep breath back, away, and then figure out what's best for us moving forward. So we hadn't made any final decisions yet, but we're in the process of doing that.
Do you want to go yourself to at least one satellite camp?
I don't know. I'm not there yet, but I will say that getting players to our campus, in the proximity of what we've had guys on campus, that's how we operate at Auburn, and we think that's a good advantage, getting the guys around our coaches, getting the feel for Auburn, our facilities, and everything that goes with that. But like I said, we're trying to figure out what's best for Auburn.
Possible to host a smaller school with you at Auburn and have a quote-unquote satellite camp on your campus?
I think there's been a lot of discussion with our staff, and we've thrown around a lot of different ideas, and we're trying to figure out what these other schools are doing too. So I just think right now there's some time of a little bit of uncertainty, not just with us, but with all the teams in our conference right now, just figuring out the best strategy for each school, and that's what we're doing right now currently.
You guys have always, and Auburn's always had a recruiting base, Florida, Georgia. When you have Atlanta, you have Miami, some of those spots. How important is it to kind of stay true to that and not try to stray so far away from things?
Yeah, we're going to stay true to who we are. The Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. Those 3 states we hang our hat on now. Every now and then we'll go out with a specific relationship or specific player, but those are the 3 states that we're going to make our living in, and we're going to spend most of our time.
Would you be interested in Cincinnati? Because Tuberville has indicated he would be open to it, and obviously got Prince Hammonds.
We've thrown around a lot of different ideas, like I said, with different places. I know right now that coaches around the country are calling different coaches, whether it's junior college, whether it's Division I, high school coaches are calling. So there's a lot of communication right now. But like I said, we're just not ready to say exactly what we're going to do. Hopefully in the next week or so, we'll kind of zero in and figure out what we can do.
Coach Horton said that you didn't want to kind of go out west or up north.
Who's that?
Coach Horton the other day. And is that because you don't want to lose focus? Like you said, you want to stay in the region. Why would you be against kind of maybe seeing somebody that you wouldn't have seen otherwise, trying to camp out?
Well, that is some conversation. But at the end of the day, we're going to stay true to those 3 states. But there is some possibility of us exploring a little farther out, but we've not made any final decisions yet.
Would that kind of thing be if you took a buckshot approach of sending the assistants separately as opposed to all 9 in one?
That's something we've talked about.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
In terms of the draft, I mean, were you surprised that more players weren't drafted? And
Yeah, we had 3, and we have a handful of guys, I think 5 or 6 with free agency. And of course, last year, if you look, we had quite a few free agents that actually made it. And I think you'll see the same thing, this year as far as that goes. But, those 3 that got drafted were very well deserving.
how do you think it's going to play out with Duke? I know he got an invitation to with the Rams, and have you talked to him since Pro Day?
No, he's very talented. And like I said at Pro Day, we wish him the best.
Guys, you told ESPN a couple of weeks ago that you felt like you were CEO, that you're not a CEO as the last year.
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit further, and at what point did you feel like you were being a CEO? Were there decisions you made that were not like a football coach?
Yeah, no, just there's a lot of moving parts to be a head coach in our league. And, at my core, I'm a football coach, and that's what I do best. And so sometimes, you can get distracted with other things, and I think the easiest way to answer that is I'm not going to be distracted with other things when the season gets here, and I'm going to coach football.
Anything
What were you
specific?
what were you
Any
distracted
specific
by?
distractions?
Well, there's being a head coach at this level. There's numerous things, and I'm going to be a football coach.
How do you shield yourself from that when you've got an entire program around?
Well, I think we're going to run it. We're going to run it very well. But I think as a coach at a big place, you learn, and obviously that was a learning experience. Obviously, last year wasn't up to our standards. And you evaluate things as a head coach, and you try to not make the same mistakes twice, and we're not going to do that, and I'm not going to do that, and we're going to be better next year.
When you sit back and you think back to last season, what are 1 or 2 things you wish maybe you would have done differently?
Just really the main thing is be a football coach and do what I'm good at.
What are you good at?
I like to think coaching football.
Gus, when you now have a chance to kind of digest spring, where do you feel like you guys, are coming out of spring practice now?
Well, I feel very good after spring as far as our attitude and our kids' approach to the game. Our defense, they improved a lot. They were having fun playing the game. There's a lot of carryover from last year, and we finished pretty strong on the defensive side of the football. We have some depth, and I think that's very important. Offensively, we got a few new coaches, and our kids really responded well to them. I think we're in a good spot right now. Knowing what we have, knowing what we need to work on. And offensively, there's going to be some young guys come in and make an impact. And really looking forward to it. I really like our kids' attitude, and I really like our staff's attitude, too. I mean, all on the same page, moving in the right direction, same direction, and it's a lot of fun.
Are you still looking at the possibility of upgrading your roster with transfers during the next couple of months?
That is a possibility. We'll see how everything goes.
When will Woody Barrett be on campus?
We're hoping at the end of this month, and we're hoping that those freshmen, they're all in line right now to be at the end of this month and get a full summer under their belt. The working out and everything that goes with that. And we've had very good success the last 3 years with guys being eligible, and we think we're in a good spot right now to have everybody with us, and that's a big advantage, when you can have your freshmen there.
Do you feel good about the last test he took, Woody?
I mean, I feel good about where he's at overall, as far as that goes.
To the possibility of transfers, Gus, do you believe that your starting quarterback is on the roster right now?
I feel very good about the 3 guys that we have, and they're set to compete, in fall camp. And I'm hoping that we can name one of those guys the starter early in fall camp rather than later in fall camp, so they can actually get the reps with the ones and all that. So I think we're in a good spot quarterback-wise.
Are you pursuing a graduate transfer there, though? That position specifically?
We're not commenting on any kind of what we're pursuing or not pursuing, but we feel good about our 3 guys that we have.
Would that be similar to 2013 where you'd take about maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks and throw them in the fire, do something live, and then go from there?
We're hoping we don't have to go live. We did that in the spring twice. We're hoping we don't have to do that. We will if we have to, but we're hoping somebody will separate themselves early rather than later, and they can start working with the ones, and so that's our goal.
What characteristics, are you looking for when you're saying, somebody does separate themselves? What is it that you're looking for?
Someone that will separate themselves and give us the best chance of winning. And from a coach's standpoint, that's a lot of things, as far as, you have instincts, and most of the time the players and the coaches will know it together.
Gus, I'm sorry.
Always one last one.
Well, I haven't had a chance to ask one yet. Man. Gus, in your experience when it comes to these voluntary captain practices that take place over the summer, how much improvement do you normally see from the end of spring to when they show up for preseason?
Really, I think it depends on leadership. Some years it's more than others, but it all comes to leadership and guys going out there and taking the bull by their horns and it being their team.